Good evening. Welcome to Cut Deep Season 5. We're on Episode 4, a new season of exciting guests and lots of information. I'm your host, Cindy Roseanne. Tonight, our discussions surround sports, youth and sports, sports management, administration, and sports tourism. Let's see where we can get in this hour. In studio with me tonight is Karl Dub Scatliffe and Leslee Smith. It is tea time in the studio. The concept of Cut Deep was developed with a focus on encouraging the wider public to think more in depth on issues that plague us, encouraging persons to have a voice and to use that voice to invoke change. Cut Deep is an interactive platform cutting through the noise and political rhetoric. It is raw, uncut, challenging you to think critically. What do the issues mean for us? What part do we play? It is a platform that will move the Virgin Islands toward unified, integrated success. I want to welcome back Blossoms Florists as our support sponsor for Cut Deep. I want to thank those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. Thank you. Cut Deep is a multi-platform show covering social and political issues in the BVI. Its viewership continues to grow, reaching more than 6,000 viewers weekly. It cuts across demographics and captures an international audience. For advertising opportunities, email cutdeep@gmail.com or call 284-440-3234. Supporters may also donate to Cut Deep and the issues it supports through our ATH Mobile 284-440-3234 through checks or cash. Donations will be kept confidential. Send words of encouragement, comments, leads, and social concerns to Cut Deep's email. Thank you to our viewing audience and supporters for watching and sharing our content. That is the best support of all. We'll take a quick break and come right back with the show for tonight.
Father Jesus, that line you long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back. It's a new season of Cut Deep. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you're just tuning in, you're just in time. It's Season 5, Episode 4. I'm your host, Cindy Roseanne. We are happy to be back for a new exciting season. I want to welcome back Blossoms Florists as our support sponsor. I want to thank those of you who continue to support this platform from behind the scenes. Thank you. Cut Deep is a multi-platform show covering social and political issues in the BVI. Its viewership continues to grow with up to 6K viewers weekly. It cuts across demographics and captures an international audience. For advertising opportunities, email cutdeep@gmail.com or call 284-440-3234. Tonight, our discussion surrounds sports, youth and sports, sports management, administration, and sports tourism. Let's see where we get in this hour. In studio with me tonight is Karl Dub Scatliffe and Leslee Smith. It is tea time in the Cut Deep studios, and here we go. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Sydney.
Good evening, Sydney.
It is lovely to have you on this set. I'm just gonna make a little joke before we go any further.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if your hair is locked. It's locked?
Yeah, just.
So
yeah.
I'd say like this is this is the third episode. I'd say that I am surrounded by beautiful Rasta men.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Cut
Thank you.
Deep set.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself for our listening audience. I'll start with Leslee.
My name is Leslee Smith, from right here in the BVI, born and raised. Right now, I'm currently a trainer at Body You Fit and a basketball skills coach.
Okay.
Of course, I'm no stranger to TV. My name is Karl Dub Scatliffe, trainer, coach, mentor, administrator. Just like you, political activist.
So we have a huge topic or topics on the table tonight, and I usually go free. It's a free-spirited conversation, but I just have a couple questions so that people can get more intimate with you guys and know about your work and what you do. So if you can tell us, what does sports in the BVI mean to each of you?
I'll let Junior go.
Sports in the BVI, for me, I think it's played a big role in my life, especially, growing up here. I played a lot of different sports. Volleyball, I did track, obviously basketball, because it helped me do a lot of things professionally, college. Cal, he played a big role also, early in stages, helping with training, traveling to St. Thomas and all the nearby countries. And we were just competing. So it played a big role for me in the success that I have, starting here, coming from the small BVI.
Well, for me, Sydney, honestly speaking, a lot of people don't know this, but sports is my life. If I had one thing that I would do, it'd be dedication to sports. I like working with youths. I like working with the different sports. It doesn't matter what sport it is. If it's preparation, I want to be there. If it's coaching, I want to be there. I want to be there to see them grow. From strength to strength. But obviously, stuff like that don't normally happen to us, so we have to find another field in order to make a dollar. But like I said, given the opportunity, it would be sports.
What has your contribution to sports been to date?
Well, if you didn't know, I was an Olympian. I represented in 1992 Olympics. I was the only field athlete, track and field athlete at that time. So I've done my share. I think I'm probably one of the most decorated Caribbean or BVI athlete when it comes to medals through the Caribbean. Okay. My dedication to sports goes way back from when I started. I was a national basketball player, a national volleyball player, national track. I've worked with a lot of youth programs, from the youth, the juniors, seniors, even to the professionals. Right now I run a program for youths, because I feel that skills normally start in the kindergarten area, so I have a games for kindergarten children. It's called the Kindergarten Games, where all the different preschools, they come into I don't want to call it a competition, but it's similar to a competition where, at that stage, 3, 4, 5 years old, you're looking at skill set, stuff like that. And I also run programs for the folks that's over 40. I have a league for netballers, for women netballers. I have a league for men basketballers. And those are about getting ready to start. So if you ask me, that's where you'll find me.
Okay. Leslee, I'm not familiar with you. I'm not. I apologize.
That happens. That's fine. It's totally fine.
You have a very decorated basketball career as well. If you want to tell us about that and your contribution to sports to date from that to this point. When did you move back home last year?
Yes.
2020? Okay.
Right before the first lockdown.
So give us your whole, just think that there are others out there like me who had no idea.
Yeah, so that's a little history lesson. Yes. Well, I started here. I had a lot of accomplishments here locally. To me, honestly, I felt like I was too good, for the competition here at the time. I was pretty much dominating my competition, my peers. So I wanted to really see how much better I could be, see if my talent could survive out in the outer wall. So, I won one tournament in St. Thomas. We was out there, and I think I don't know what I did. I did some kind of move. It was maybe I dunked on somebody, something spectacular. And this guy was in the stands. His name is Jonathan Greenaway. We're still good friends today. He was like my mentor. He came up to me after the game. He said, look, man, you had a lot of skill, you got a lot of talent. I think you should be, playing in America and where you could, expose yourself. And I was like, yeah, that's my ultimate goal. So, some years passed, and then, I went to a school in Texas. Christian Life is a prep school. It was a very small private school. And that's when everything started to change for me. Competition there was crazy. I mean, the speed of the game was different. The players, they were all higher level, highly recruited players. It was getting, schools were like from Texas A&M, Marquette, Georgetown. These kind of schools were recruiting these players. So I kind of got thrown into the fire early. But what it did for me is that it pushed me to understand that I could hang with these guys, I could play at this level, So after the first year of just, grinding and digging through it all, then I kind of became the man the next year. And the focal point was on me at the school, so I played for some of the best AAU teams. I played for Houston Hoops, played for Houston Swoosh. I got recruited by some good schools, Western Kentucky. I ended up going to SMU, so and landed on magazine covers. I was one of the top 10 players in this Houston area in high school. I was invited to the top 150 player camp. That's like a big thing, yeah. So that's like with all the top 150 players in the country. So I had a lot of early success that wasn't really mentioned. Maybe because social media is so much different now, and you could talk about these things, but back then, but a lot of early success, and I still have the magazine to this day, because
as you should.
Yeah. So I try to keep all my my accomplishments. Yeah, but just from there, and then going to school, then ended up in Nebraska, and that was another big thing for me. Being recruited there, went to the NCAA tournament. I think I don't know if I was the first or something like that, but I was the first to go to that level of competition. Nebraska.
From the BVI.
From the BVI, yeah, from the BVI.
So, Cal,
You want some help with it?
why haven't we seen all the hoopla? Was there?
There was some.
There was. But the
I
thing
didn't
is,
see it.
the thing is, in the beginning stage, you don't really hear a lot of our athletes until they reach the podium, and that's the problem that we face as far as exposure and exposing our athletes. You only hear about them when they reach a medal stage, and that's sad. That's something that we need to fix.
So that brings me to my other question. So we're gonna do a quick go down of, although I have a really good idea, and he's from the 7th district, by the way. Let me just let you all know he's from District 7.
I just wanted to say too, height matters.
It does. It helps a lot. It definitely helps a lot.
Yeah, of course it does. But do you know his family?
Of course.
Right.
We're family.
His height, it's his grandfather.
Of
And
course.
yeah. So height plays a pretty big
But
deal
his
in
father's
basketball.
from the 4-5, okay, just to let you know.
No, he's not. So he's BVI bred and born. He said that. Give me a history. I know this topic is going to get very heated for you, Cal. It probably might get heated for you, Leslie, but probably more so for Cal because he's been in it and there hasn't really been a lot of movement.
There has been a lot of promises.
Yeah.
But
so give me a history of sports in the BVI.
okay, from back in my day, the problem it is that I see this same thing happening today. When I graduated from high school, I was into track and field. I was not actually a jumper. I was a distance runner. I was pretty good, When I graduated, we promised a scholarship to go after school. 5 years after is when that happened. So by the time then, you're already into the workforce. You forget all about that stuff.
You got a scholarship 5 years after the fact to go to school. Okay.
And believe it or not, when I got to school, I started in a junior college in California. When I got to school, because I was so long out of school, they were giving me baby classes to do, And I said, no, I'm not that bad, Step it up a little bit. It's like ABC books, because they didn't expect somebody, at my age. I was pretty old going into college.
Yeah.
I competed against younger folks.
Yeah.
And I had to work my way up the ranks. You know, when I was done, my first year we made it to state. The school that I was competing for was Compton College.
Mm-hmm.
I know you probably heard of the movie Compton.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I went to school. In the boondocks, in the
Mm-hmm.
heart and the city of the Crips and the Bloods.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you go home, you gotta sleep on the floor because shots are ringing through homes and stuff. It was real tough.
Okay.
But I made it through that, you know, and I was able to be ranked at least in the top 3 in the state that year. That school never been to a state championships in 30 years. So, you know, I took them there. It was good, you know. The accolades that came after that was good. But when I came back home, back in '92, after the games, you know, I wanted to get involved in sports because I was already exposed. You know, I saw a lot of things. I really wanted to do a lot of things. And when I came back, it was, you know, like, man, where do we go from here? I applied for a job in a sports area. It took me 4 years before they got to me. So when I went to the interview, you know, during the interview, I asked, you know, what was I really supposed to be doing between the 4 years waiting for you guys? You know, and then after the interview, you know, while going through the interview, I asked questions, you know, and then I said, okay, so what's the salary? And the salary that they were offering me, where I was working, I was making almost 3 times that salary. So who's gonna give that up to go work for you? Even though I love sports, couldn't cut it, you know. And since then, I've been looking at sports, you know, promises made, none kept. And it's been frustrating because year after year, you hear people talk about youth programs, you hear them talk about, and that upsets me. You get under my skin when you start talking about youth because I don't think anybody knows more about youth than me because I drive kids to school from the time they're 4 years old to the time they graduate out of the HLSCC.
Oh.
So I've been there with them kids, you know, through the grime, the thick and the thin, and hearing these stories. And you know, when I realized that they weren't doing anything for kids, I said, you know what, whatever I can do. I made some phone calls, you know, I see we got some kids with some talent, the different sports. I called up some guys, you know, like Leslie said, when you leave, you don't leave your contacts.
Yeah.
So, you know, I called up some folks, hey, you know, what can you do for this child for me? What you can do for that child? And things started to happen, doors started to open. So, you know, to bring a story home, we started, Steve and myself, when he came back, because he was playing professional, he came back, I said, Steve, you know, you're getting old, we need to start giving back to the community. What can we do? He said, you know what, I'm in basketball, you're in track. I said, well, let's combine. So I worked with Steve, we managed to, you know, start some basketball programs, going real great. We got college teams coming in, you know. We were trying to push it out the roof. We were getting there. The rug was pulled from under us. Got to start from scratch again. You know, and
when you say the rug was pulled from under you, what does that mean?
If people don't have the vision that you have and they don't understand what you're all about, it's confusing to them. So when you say, let's invest in this or let's do this way, because of their, how should I say, their background, they might say, well, hey, you know, I think it's better done this way. And it's hard to try to explain somebody something who doesn't know.
But if you don't have a background in sports, how can you decide?
Yeah, but you have a position that I need your help just as much as you need mine. But, you know, as much as I'm reaching out to you, you still want to tell me how to do it.
Right, that's what I was saying. If you don't have a background in sports, you can't determine. You can bring what resources you have, which will be your position.
And that's all we wanted.
But you can't say how or where a particular thing will go if you don't have exposure to it. That's what I meant.
That's all we wanted.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
we just wanted the assistance, the sanction. That's all we were asking because, I mean, sometimes funding was an issue for us, but we would go out and we would hunt. We would get people involved, you know, people understood what you want to do, they would donate. So, you know, things like that would help us. Because I'll tell you this much, between Steve and I, we sent almost 30 kids to U.S. colleges for basketball scholarships.
Okay.
And I think Leslie probably fell under that after we came out.
Okay.
And to this day, and they're not just from BVI. They're from the U.S. Virgin Islands. They're from the Caribbean islands. So we're not sent to St. Vincent. We even sent a girl. You know, so we're not leaving any women out. We even sent a girl, and she did real good. Yes.
I'm not sure what he means.
Yeah, but I mean, we were doing what we were doing. I mean, the thing is, it was just us, and we need a lot more help.
Okay.
And when we reach out for the help, you know, we were hoping that, you know, people understood what we were saying. But then here comes the government now saying, okay, we would help you, but we want to put our people in there. We had a problem with that.
Does this present government?
No. Past governments.
Okay. So this is what happens with each government?
Yes. We started from the VIP time. I must say the first VIP, they
this is under Ralph.
Right.
Okay.
But Andrew was a minister. He assisted us a lot. He understood. And I'm surprised today, I must say, I'm not hearing from him, you know, and he was there with us in the beginning.
Okay.
NDP came in, we tried to show them what it is we were doing. You know, they had their own agenda. But, you know, they worked around us. So they put their people in, hoping that their people could, you know, come and take over. It just didn't manifest. And ever since then, everything just crashed. But I must say, the work that we did, just like Leslie was telling you, we were, because right now there's only 2 Caribbean islands that has tournaments, which is Bahamas and the U.S. Virgin Islands. We would have been the 3rd island.
This is basketball.
We would have been the 3rd island in the Caribbean to have that type of tournament basketball coverage. The statistics from those tournaments shows you, I mean, the BVI could have been marketed as, you know, a destination for sports. And that's where sports tourism will, you know, steadily starting to build, because people now want to know what's going on in the Caribbean. They want to come. We were in the magazines. We were a spot in the collegiate magazines for a destination to go for basketball tournaments. That's how far we made it. And we started with U.S. Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico.
So if you'd had to give it a guess, what's the most important sport that we support in the BVI? Is there one? Do we support sports, period?
It's between track and field and basketball. Track and field, because it takes us to that level.
Are we getting the required support?
You want me to go back into this again? I'll tell you this much about track and field. Why people grudge track and field? Because when the other sports are sleeping, the track people are working. So that's what makes us angry now when we see things, obstacles falling away that necessarily doesn't have to be there, because we are there turning every day. And when we hit those podiums, you want to blow us up in the stars. But you don't want to be there with us when we toiling and saying, listen, we need this, we need that. That's the problem I have.
All right, let's take a quick break on that and we'll come right back.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Welcome back. It's Season 5, Episode 4 of Cut Deep. On the table for discussion tonight is sports, youth, sports management, administration, and sports tourism. In studio with me tonight is Karl Dub Scatliffe and Leslee Smith. We'll continue our conversation just as we left off just before the break, and I want to get a little deeper into what may be the frustration of these guys. I know they're here because there is some frustration, and one of the things for me, Cal, one of the frustrating things for me is that at 2023, I had a lot of hope as a young person for the BVI. If you fast forward 20, 24 years later, it seems like we're at the same spot. Is that where we are with sports in the BVI? Like, where do you see sports, where it has been, where it needs to be, and how we're going to get there? Can I take Leslee and see from a younger version what he's feeling, and then we can come back to you?
Well, I know when I was growing up, I think it was Dr. Pickering at the time who was in office for our district. And I know when I was growing up, we had a lot of camps going on. So what that did for me is that it helped me, learn from outsiders that, who have a better knowledge of the game, who understand how the game is played.
So we had camps with people coming in
to
do
we had
trainings.
camps that bring people in all the time. So it helped me with exposure, it helped me develop a lot faster, a lot better, helped me with the understanding of the game. And I think, after I left, I don't know how much more camps it had. I didn't really keep track, but I could tell that there haven't been a lot because there was only so much people after me that had that much success. I could probably name a few. I know Dima is in school right now. I know Banana grew up in my area, Narva Carey. He's around the same age as me. So we had that same exposure early. But, we got Frankie, Franklin Penn. Him and Dima went to the same school. No, he's back here.
Okay.
Dima is the one who's away in school right now. But I think that, me being an example, Narville, Cleon, all the people who had success early on, that should have been the driving point for us to, okay, well, the camps work. We need to do this more.
Okay.
And I don't think there's been too much of that happening. I know these guys did their thing, but sometimes as a youth growing up, to see an outside face, somebody that's already had that success, people who know NBA players, know NBA coaches. I think that the camp that came, I can't remember the exact name, but it was Magic Johnson's sister's camp. She was doing it and she was traveling all around. So just knowing that, okay, well, this is Magic Johnson, legend, Hall of Famer, champion. He has a camp running and he's out here. So like just being around that kind of, level of people, it helps. It helps you with, feeling more, enthusiastic to want to get better, to want to do the right things, to want to do your schoolwork, because all these things are important. So
What is your frustration as a youth?
Right now?
Oh, throughout your career, or,
I didn't really have much.
Or?
I think, well, my mom played a big role. I didn't need a lot of support after a certain period of time. My mom paid for my high school. I had to go to a private school and it had to be paid for, but my talent helped me gain a scholarship. So after a while, she didn't really have to worry about that. So I didn't really have a lot of frustrations, throughout my all careers. It's just now to see that there are not a lot of the parents. My frustration right now is with the parents.
Okay.
And we could say the government too, but I don't really like to get into politics so much. I know they have their issues and all that stuff. Right? No, so I just know. Well, the reason I said that is because I reached out to the governments and I know how much they could play a role. They have the funds, they have the resources. So my frustration is there because I know that they have the things that can help. The kids want to do these things.
Okay, what's the frustration with the parents?
I don't think they're listening.
In terms of?
In terms of what the kid want to do. I don't think they understand what the sport could do for their kid.
Do you think it's that they don't understand or they don't see the importance of it?
I think they don't understand.
Our society has grown any in terms of that?
I'm going to interject a little bit there, my dear Roseanne. The problem we face is administration. If we have the right people in the right position that understands what it's all about, a lot of this rhetoric, like you call it, would end. Because then you would have the proper people, the proper guidelines, the proper mechanisms and all that get stuff done. What Leslee just said is something I've been saying, and that brings me back to youth programs. The parents are out there working 3 or 4 jobs. They're not getting the opportunity to sit down and listen to their kid and what their kid wants to do and stuff like that. And that's where we drop the ball. Back in my time, you do what you want, your parents will back you, they support you. They want to see you do better than they did.
Right.
Today's parents...
But in sports though, did they see the importance of sports back then?
Listen, back then sports, our parents and all was playing while we were competing. We would go and watch them. and that would motivate us to get involved.
Okay.
You don't have that today because you got children getting children. They don't have the time. They're not even grown up yet, but they're getting children. So how can a child teach a child? And that's a problem that we face. So, I mean, you see a lot of children getting in trouble today is because, I mean, when was the last time a parent tell you they love you? You know, your parents tell you they love you. I mean, I'm over the hill right now, and that was when my mom normally thought, I never heard my dad say that to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, my parents were like that.
You grew up in a different era. You know?
A different era?
Yeah. I'm in a baby boomer era, okay? That's back then. But I mean...
And I tell my children every single day.
Yeah, and I do the same, you know, because I think they need to hear it. They need to understand that, you know, you're there for them. A lot of children doesn't have that opportunity. And a lot of children look up to people like Leslee or myself for that, you know, let me see what you can do for me, see what you can do for me. I hear that a lot, and I hear that a lot from parents. You know, that's why, like I tell people, I'm never gonna be rich because I'm always giving to the kids. I'm not gonna give to the parents, but I'm gonna give to the kid. If I could help that kid get from point A to point B, that's my job. You know, and again, if the administrators in the different associations and federations and government do their job properly, a lot of this stuff would be null and void because then there'll be programs for kids.
Okay, so I know that what was ushered in with this new administration?
I don't get too involved.
Good question.
Yeah, I mean,
Good
because
question,
you
because
talked about what happened under the NDP. At some point you said that things were awash. So is there a new focus on sports now? What has this new administration ushered in that we can look forward to?
Did you hear anything? Or have you know about anything? Because I'm going to speak after you.
No,
Since you've been home.
What disappoints me the most is that all of those who are in administration are very huge sports fans.
Not only sports fans.
Education, period.
Yeah, they were ministers involved in sports.
Yeah, so to see that there's nothing going on, it bothers me. It really bothers me.
Do you think that has anything to do with COVID?
No. COVID just came.
I mean, COVID, you know.
No,
Cindy,
COVID just
it's
came.
quite
the majority of the ministers in every cabinet that's voted in, the majority of them either took part in sports.
That's this new administration?
From VIP 1 for NVT 2 to all of them. Okay. The majority of the ministers were actively involved in sports. And like Leslee said, it's sad to see that all of them, matter of fact, we have Sheep right there. We have the Premier, who's there. We have Wheatley. Who else is there? Right now.
But the important thing is not only are they sports fanatics, it's a young government. Not only is it a young government, it's a government of educators
not only educators,
that continue to deal with youth. So what have you seen that has come in with these guys that they want to focus on in terms of youth and sports and
nothing?
Point blank. There's no plan?
I haven't seen one. I haven't heard of one. I mean, I reached out to the good minister of sports, you know, because when I run on my platform, it was sports and tourism. I said to them, listen, I know I've lost, but I want to share whatever information I have with you. So I gave them my portfolio. I said, you know, whenever you need me, just call me. It's been 2 years now. Plus, I haven't heard from any one of them.
Yeah, almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years. And where is sports today? You know, where is it?
What is going on with sports?
If we never knew about Kyron and Chantel in the Olympics, you would never hear anything about sports.
And that's not even coming in under them. This is just,
that's
their consistent
the same thing with Des Moines.
effort out
if
there.
Des Moines team didn't reach that playoff championship, we would have never heard of basketball.
The thing with track, and I tell this people all the time, the difference between track and basketball, track is individual sport. If you're a good individual, you have a high chance of making it. The thing with basketball, no, you have all the players on the team. It's a team sport. So if your team is successful, you have a good chance of being recognized, and it's a lot harder if you have an individual success.
Right.
But it doesn't change the fact that, you know, there's nothing really happening. you know, in both parties, because no, what we having is just diamond in the roughs each time. These people that we just find lucky. Somebody just happened to blossom and blow up.
Right.
It's not like we have a program where we just constantly developing this level of athlete.
And to add what he's saying, again, for the team sports, for example, his age group, they said, for example, his age group, they were national team players. They may play 1 or 2 competitions out of the year, and that's it. Then they go their separate ways. What we need to do is keep them together as a team and try to find other competitions for them to keep progressing, and that's where, you know, the program is like succession. You know, as one leave, there's one coming, just like the Jamaicans do with the sprinters.
Yeah.
As one go, one come. Like, the problem that we have, again, is it goes back to administrators. If they don't have that vision, nothing can happen.
Can I ask you a big question?
If I'm going to work with the government?
No. Do you think that it's a mindset of us as Virgin Islanders? Because that is something that is consistent whenever we're having conversations about anything. There's never a succession plan in anything. In government, even in our businesses, if you see how we run businesses, is that something that's innate in us? Is that a failure that we have?
I could attest to what you're saying.
Because it's interesting if administration after administration is coming in and the mindset is the same. So is that who we are as a people? We don't. One thing I realized when I came home and I was working at the tourist board, right? They put me in as the event person, and so I had to develop all of these events. Okay, but developing events, it takes time. You first need the local buy-in to say that this is a good event and we're supporting it, and then it goes to the next stage of, you know, having that international buy-in, but success is not overnight. And I find that a lot of us feel like success is overnight. So we don't want to do the back work. We don't want to be a part of the dirty work. But if Chantel is, oh, it's Chantel, it's amazing. She's from the BVI, she's doing great. But Chantel has been working all the time. Her success was not overnight. So I think it's innate in us, and we need to figure out how to be a part of the groundwork. Because if we don't know how to do that, me coming up, say I want to go into politics, I will go with that same mindset, and sports goes nowhere again, or the youth go nowhere again, because there's no succession plan, there's no building, there's no, you see what I'm saying?
Chantel, her situation goes to what I was saying with the parents.
Well, I just use her as an example.
Yeah, but that helps with what I'm saying, because 88, my cousin, he invests in his kids.
Right.
He sent Chantel to the best, one of the best
But that's
schools.
an individual thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. We don't, it shouldn't have to fall on the parents only.
Right.
It should be the community. It should be something that's, you know,
a structured program that is consistent.
I'm going to piggyback on what you just said. And you're so right, because the problem I think that we face as locals is we don't know when to turn in a towel. We want to stay in a position till die cannot come till we die. You know, and so and that's why I said something about politics. I said I believe politicians should have one term, because there's so much bright, educated people that's behind, that comes with these great ideas, just like how we did when we went in. We lay the foundation, another person come, they build a wall, the next person come put the roof on and stuff like that. And that's where succession continues. We definitely don't have that, because we don't want to let go of what we have. Yeah. We have
not only do we not
want
to let go, we don't even want to train who's coming behind us.
Because, you know, we fear, you know, I mean, and that's why we can't get paid the pay grade that we need, because these folks are just, I mean, if I'm in government for 40 years and I'm getting $50,000, I don't build my house and raise my kids. Yeah. What do I want to do with that? Yeah. And I have no reason. So somebody younger than me coming in wants to do the same thing. I'm blocking them. Yeah. And you know, so there's a war between the young and the old, and that's what we face every day. Because the old doesn't see what the young see. And if you don't take time to understand the youth, you don't know what they're thinking.
But you said it right even before, a couple sentences back, or just in the very beginning, that the important thing is wanting your children to be better than you. If not, we're in a society that's dead. It's not moving forward. There's no transforming, no,
Let me tell you something else. We had a lot of great athletes. The system is what killed our athletes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not
I'm
the
sure.
sport.
If you're gonna tell me that
athletes.
you apply for a scholarship to go study and you got it 4 years later, of course the system is killing us. And then they decide who's gonna go and who's not gonna go and who's gonna be successful, who's not gonna be successful.
Man, like I said, I could talk about sports all day. The thing that I want to see happen is that I want to see a restructure. I want to see a plan. I want to know what direction we plan. I mean, look at countries in the Caribbean now. They realize that sports is taking them to that podium that they want to be on. So they're investing more into sports. And there's a movie that say if you build it, they would come. I think it was Children of the Corn or something like that. They're talking about the stadiums. If you make it, they will come and play on it. I've been to, I think it was St. Lucia. St. Lucia has some of the best stadiums, but they don't have the athletes to accommodate.
Yeah.
When we went down there to play basketball, it was like a clinic. We're playing against basketball players, but we're so much more advanced than them, and they have the equipment that we need. It was like, what's really going on? Nobody, again, was paying attention, but somebody paid attention as far as getting the facilities.
That leads me to the fact that we still don't have roofs on these courts. That I think that's a burden on us also. Because for track too, imagine how much better our track athletes would have been if we could train during bad weather.
Yeah.
See, when you go to these other places, especially in America, they have outdoors and they have indoor tracks. So just in case the weather bad, you still go inside.
Stop.
If I on a basketball court with my kids and it started to rain, we can't even practice no more. We have to stop, we have to go home. It could rain for the whole week and we can't even get on the court.
Correct.
But not only that, you can't even use the facilities if they want to go where they're going to go, in the bush.
Yeah.
So we need to develop.
Yeah, I think
and we're in 2021.
Yeah,
2021.
I say this to myself all the time.
Vision. It's lack of vision. The people that are in power doesn't see the necessity of these things right now. So they figure, well, hey, let's deal with
these things. But that shows that the sports ain't really.
It's not on.
It's not prioritized.
It's not.
I'm gonna be the heavy hitter. It's not even that sports is not important. It is obvious that our children are not important. Our youth are not important. So why would sports be important?
But you know what, Cindy? Those same youths that we're talking about going to be the men and women of tomorrow.
But that's what we preach.
We
preach this for generations, but still.
We need to start taking more and pay more attention.
What would it take?
I'll show you an example. I mean, even in a school system, you may have a kid that is claimed to be disgusting or troublesome. And you rule them out, you throw them out of the classroom and stuff like that, not knowing that that kid might be your next president. The problem that kid might be facing is that they have so much energy. They finish doing what they're doing, so they're disrupting the class. So you look at them as a disruptive person, but that might be the smartest child in the class.
Wait. Go ahead. Finish.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I've seen, like I said, move kids from time they're 4 years old. And I've seen children that people claim were very, very disruptive. And what I had to do is psychology. What I would do on my bosses, I would say, okay, well, since I can't get you handled, I can put you to be in control. And by me making that simple, turn that child around into somebody. And today when I look at those children, I'm like, man, I know when that child was disgusting.
Yeah.
And look at them now, they got their own business, and stuff like that. And I admire stuff like that. And that's because me dealing with children every day, seeing all this stuff. Again, when we elect people and they say they're out for the youths, they need to have people around them to say, okay, hey, what can we do? You don't speak to the people that's in the trenches. You bring in people from outside and tell us what we need to do. I have a problem with that. You don't come tell me. I've been here digging these trenches all the time, making sure that these kids get food, they get home to school. And then you're going to come and tell me, hey, I bring a transportation. You don't have to worry about that no more. We take care of them. No. Come to us first. And every sport has that same problem. And people get frustrated and they quit. Athletes get frustrated and they quit. Here's the next scenario, Leslie. Imagine we training kids from time they're in kindergarten, they go to primary school, they go to high school, and we have a college that say we don't have no sports program. So now when we're looking for national athletes, where are we going to get them from?
Right.
Because you stopped it right at high school. So that's the problem that we face. I've been to the HLSCC several times asking, listen, you guys need to interject sports program, athletic program into, you know.
There's none at all?
They told me they're academic school, they're not an athletic school. So stuff like that, it throws on the back. But right now I see these kids are going in and fighting and saying they want stuff in there. I remember when they did volleyball one time, they did basketball one time. I think I was in charge of basketball team too. That basketball team that I was in charge of made it to the playoffs. I think we got fourth that year in the regular basketball league. That generated a whole set of young people wanting to go to the college now to play in a college team because they see the opportunity. And next year they scrapped it. And I was like, you guys are really serious? This is the reason why we don't have athletes. And you see one or two that comes out of the crack. I mean, I'm tired of preaching sports. I'm tired of talking the same stuff. And I made a statement, I think it was on Paul's show. I don't want the government to give me a job, no 9-to-5 job, because you can't afford to pay me. Give me your resources, give me your administration, and let we work together. And said, listen, for the next 4 years, this is what we're going to expect. Let's work on that.
As such a sport enthusiast, and I wouldn't even say enthusiast, but somebody who's ingrained in sports in the BVI, coming up in it, has any of the ministers reached out? Has the Minister for Sports reached out to you, this new minister? Has there been any conversations between you guys? You said that you had some plan you presented, and
I'm a role model to use. Don't make me cuss bad word, okay?
No, don't do. Not on this set.
No. The answer is no.
At all?
No. When the NDP was in, I had a conversation with the Premier, Dr. Karl Smith. I sat in his home with him for about 2-3 hours, discussing the plan of sports, where we can go, how we can make money from it, and all that kind of stuff. Very enthused. You know, he said at that time, I think Myron was the minister. He said, you know, why didn't you take this to Minister of Sports?
And did you?
I've been trying to get an appointment with him for
4 years? 8 years?
I mean, that's my boy. I'm not going to knock him, but I have to knock you when I have to knock you. But yes.
You tried to get an appointment with the Honorable Myron Walwyn for 8 years.
We would see each other, but it was, get back to me or check me in my office and them kind of stuff. So
for 8 years?
I've been talking to him more on the street than I was in his office.
Okay.
Because I think I got more done with him on the street than him in the office. Because he never really had time.
Okay. So what about this new one?
I'll tell you this much. I spoke to him the other day, and I think he wants to understand where I'm coming from. So I'm going to give him. Does he, or is he only
feisty when you're on air?
That's left to be seen. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I also spoke to Leslee Smith, and I expected a lot. That's your cousin, right?
Yeah.
I expected a lot more from Neville. I heard him in the house one day talk about what we're doing with sports, and he gave me goosebumps the way he spoke. But then I didn't see no action behind of it. And I reached out to him, and I said to him, listen, we need to conversate. I want to work with you because what you were talking about is the same thing I speak about every day. Haven't heard from him. I mean, I spoke to the Premier. I spoke to the Premier.
They believe in those motivational talks. Like
I actually spoke to the Premier about it, and he said, you know, he's going to get back to me, and that's my good. Like I said, he's been there for me in the beginning, and I think given the opportunity, he will be there for me. It's just that he's too busy. He has COVID to deal with, he has COI to deal with. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
So we could say sports is youth going nowhere right now.
I would say
you just gotta take it in your own hands. You know, if you really care, like for me, and I know he's been doing it. Like for me, I really care about, you know, somebody else having the opportunity because I know I did for me, and that's how I look. That's how I'm approaching it.
So what are you doing to
Well, I started
interject yourself into better?
I started my skills development business called Gifted Athletics.
Gifted Athletics?
Gifted Athletics, yeah.
Okay.
I started it earlier this year. Obviously with COVID and stuff, it kind of wasn't moving. But I have kids that I'm working with now, not a lot. It's growing slowly, which I don't mind. That's come to just talk about how we reached out to the politicians and just trying to get sponsorship for these kids, because I know some parents may not be able to afford it, but just to get the district reps more involved in the youth. So, there's been discussion. Have there been action? No. If I'm being honest, I haven't got any messages back. I've sent letters. I haven't really got anything back. So I kind of just, realized, well, I got to do this on my own, and whoever really, who understand the vision, if they want to help, I'll move. We spoke when me and Karl, we met on the street, and he spoke and he said, look, we just have to do it on our own. I didn't really study it because I just got here, but now that I'm going through what he's going through, or he went through, now I realize, okay, I just have to do it organically and do it on my own, which I don't mind, because a lot of the basketball success I had was on my own, so I kind of understand how to grind and get it out. It's just I was expecting more, because of what the help that I got. So I was kind of like, well, I know how much it helped me early. And I find that a lot of the kids know, the ones that's coming to me, they're kind of already too old. I won't say they're too old to make it, but it's like they have a better chance when you start earlier.
Yeah,
and
it's not like
late.
track and field.
It's not like track.
Yeah,
I started late.
You can go I don't want to say the older the better, but
What
you
he said-
develop
what he
much
said-
older.
no,
So
what he-
with
no,
basketball, it's
Now, what he says is correct. You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but you can trick an old dog with new tricks. So the thing is, like I was just telling you, it starts with the youths. The younger he get them, the better and the easier and better it is for him. And like I said, our pool is so small. One kid may play like 4 or 5 different sports.
right.
So when they reach and I agree with that, let them play. When they reach to like a teenager, like 14, 15, 16, they're going to decide which sport they want to play, And like he said, he played all the different sports. When he realized he was outgrowing his shoes, he realized, hey, basketball might be the best thing. And he ran with it. And it worked for him.
Yeah, this should, the earlier the better. Because I know for me, I had a kind of a late start. But it's still, I got a lot of success out of it. So imagine if we could get these kids in there from time to 10 years old. Cause that's what's going on in America and all other places. And that's why these kids are, they have videos of kids that's like 6 years old doing stuff that grown men can't do.
Correct.
Because they're in a system from young and they're getting drilled every day. And now that's how you create the level of players you want. That's how you create a strong foundation for any sport. It doesn't have to be just basketball. I think that's why track have a lot of success, because these kids start from time they're 5 years old and they could run on their own. They go out on the track and field, and they just get faster and better and stronger with the help of people like Karl and all the other coaches on the track. They get better, so that's why track have a lot more success than any other sport here in the BVI, because that grassroots program that they have. Basketball, where we need to do the same, and maybe soccer and all these other sports. I don't really know about those sports, but we need to do the same, and then we'll see more success. We have more kids going away. We have more scholarships, and that's the important thing. It's not so much about yourself as an individual. It's about how can we make the BVI better, because if we could get more kids out there getting an education, that's going to make our country a better country.
Like softball and baseball is also a big thing for us. That too, like.
I was going to touch it. Were you back? Were you here? Were you here when we had the PV T-ball program for the younger kids in baseball?
What year was that?
That was, I think, Andy Bickerton or one of those guys were in control of it at that time. Trust me, that was a very good program. We had all the trust companies involved. We had kids from all over coming to play baseball. Same thing in soccer. Soccer had a very good program. They had all the schools involved and stuff. And again, that's where you need it. The T-ball program, I don't know how that dropped, but it was gone out the window.
Yeah.
Soccer is still trying to hold on to theirs. Again, track is probably the most successful because, it's a more structured. The same thing in all the sports I would love to see, like Leslie saying. The earlier we get them in, I mean, we don't have a big pool to pull from, so you're going to have them jumping from sport to sport, which is not bad. But again, once they learn the skill set, it's going to stay with them. It's like riding a bike. Once you know how to ride, you can be riding for life, you know, and it all has to do with the people that you put in place, the administration that understands what needs to be done. Because I said to the minister the other day, I said, listen, give me an opportunity. I guarantee you I could bring back sports to the highest level here. We have people like Leslee. We have my good cousin Dovan. We have Steve. We have a lot of people in the community who would assist in any sport. I see basketball started with the districts. That's how I grew up. You know, every district came with a team. Mm-hmm. It can happen in all the sports. We just need to tap into those people, and we ain't doing it for free no more. We done that free paper burn up. We get taken advantage too much by doing stuff for free, and then when it's time to acknowledge, you don't get any acknowledgement. Yeah. If you're gonna do something, you have to have a budget where you're gonna take care of people. Nobody's working for free anymore, and there needs to be a lot more programs for girls. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I started netball. I started of course, you know, I started netball, but I started netball with a bunch of grown women. Right. I'd love to see. Because when I was going to school, I watched my aunts and a lot of people, you know, playing netball. It was a big sport back then. I want to see that happen now.
There's professional leagues.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So you know,
even correct, volleyball too. Yeah, big leagues. This is a big subject, and so what I want to do is invite you guys onto the ZBVI platform. It won't be this Thursday because this Thursday I definitely have to dig into the COI and dissect that a lot. That's what the listening audience wants. But the following week, Thursday, if I can slot you guys in, we can do a 2-hour. And
can we invite some more people?
We can invite up to, we can have about 4 people there in that spot. And we can get the public to call in. And see how we can start flipping this whole thing back around. You know?
I'm for that.
What the answers are, how we can make it happen. So, thank you guys for being here. I look forward to having you guys on the ZBVI platform. Cut Deep Takes 2. Thank you for tuning in tonight. This season is going to be an exciting one. We have some great topics, discussions, and guests for you this season. The Commission of Inquiry did indeed wrap up their evidence gathering last Friday. We're now left to ponder what next. Join me live on ZBVI at 8 p.m. on Thursday for a powwow on the matter. The Cut Deep platform will continue to keep you up to date on what you must know and how it will affect you and the territory. We will prepare you for what is to come. We're on the road to elections, believe it or not. We want to take a look at what could emerge, set the tone for what should emerge, but overall keep you informed and a part of the conversation. And of course, you and I together form where this territory should be headed. Have a good night and rest of week, and I'll see you on Thursday on ZBVI 8 p.m. for Cut Deep Takes 2.